You ever see a grown woman run screaming from a yard like her life depended on it, while a rooster, wings flapping like a feathery demon, is hot on her heels? Because that's exactly how my Sunday morning started. I wasn't laughing at first, though. I was furious. See, the woman in question was none other than Patricia Hendricks, our neighborhood's self-proclaimed HOA queen, what we all called HOA Karen. She strutted around with her clipboard, her whistle, and this unshakable belief that every square inch of land within a 5-mile radius fell under her command. Now, I live just on the edge of the subdivision, where the HOA technically ends. My little farmhouse and chicken coop are outside their jurisdiction, but that never stopped Karen. To her, my property was an eyesore. My chickens were too noisy, and, according to her, my coop violated some HOA landscaping code. Newsflash, I wasn't even part of her HOA. Saturday night, I came home from a long shift to find something strange. The chicken coop door was hanging open, feathers scattered around like confetti, and half my hens were gone. At first, I thought maybe a fox got in, or the raccoons finally outsmarted my traps. But then I saw it, the trail, a faint line of chicken feed, scattered breadcrumbs leading straight out of my yard and toward the cul-de-sac. That's when it clicked. This wasn't wildlife. This was Karen. I stayed up most of the night stewing. Who in their right mind steals chickens? By morning, I decided to walk down the street and see if I could confirm my suspicion. And there it was, my hens, pecking around in Karen's manicured lawn like they owned the place. But she wasn't happy about it. She was waving her arms, trying to herd them into a dog crate, yelling something about evidence and illegal livestock. And then, oh, the sweet moment of karma. My rooster, Big Red, made his grand entrance. He strutted into her yard like a gladiator entering the arena. Karen, in her white capri pants and garden gloves, didn't stand a chance. Big Red charged, flapping and screeching, beak aimed straight for her shins. She shrieked, stumbled backward, and in a panic tried to climb onto her patio chair. That was the moment I stepped into view, arms crossed, watching the chaos unfold. Karen's eyes met mine, filled with fury and fear all at once, as Big Red kept her cornered. And I thought, this is only the beginning. Karen was flailing her arms like she was battling a swarm of hornets. But in reality, it was just one very determined rooster. Big Red puffed up, circling her like a sheriff who finally caught his outlaw. Every time she tried to shoo him away with her garden gloves, he darted forward, wings flapping, claws scratching at the air. "Call this beast off!" she screeched, her voice cracking so loud half the cul-de-sac peeked out from their windows. I leaned against the fence post, calm as could be. "That's funny," I said. "You mean the rooster you stole along with my hens? Looks like he's just protecting his flock." Her face turned crimson. She tried to regain her dignity, standing on the patio chair like it was a throne. "These chickens were trespassing, according to HOA Code 14B, livestock." I cut her off with a laugh. "Karen, my farm isn't under HOA rules. You broke into my coop. That's theft." The neighbors were gathering now, drawn by the commotion. Mr. Diaz from across the street pulled out his phone, clearly recording. 2 teenagers were doubled over laughing as Big Red kept lunging at Karen's ankles every time she tried to step down. "You're embarrassing yourself," I added, shaking my head. "And if you don't let my hens out of that crate right now, you're going to regret it." Karen tried to turn the tide. "These chickens are a health hazard. They spread disease. They lower property values," she shrieked. But her speech was drowned out by the sound of Big Red launching himself at her again, sending her wobbling. She nearly toppled the chair. Finally, she screamed, grabbed the crate with my hens inside, and shoved it toward me like it was a live grenade. "Fine, take your filthy birds. But this isn't over." I crouched down, opened the crate, and my hens waddled back to Big Red like soldiers returning to their general. He strutted proudly, chest out, as if he'd personally won the battle. The neighbors clapped and laughed, some even cheering for the rooster. Karen, humiliated, darted inside her house and slammed the door, but not before shouting something muffled about calling the authorities. I picked up the crate, whistled for my flock, and started heading home. But in the pit of my stomach, I knew this wasn't finished. Karen wasn't the type to lick her wounds quietly. She was plotting something, and the way she'd looked at me before retreating told me she was ready to escalate. And I was ready too, because if she thought she could take on me and Big Red, she was in for the fight of her life. By Monday morning, word had spread faster than wildfire. Karen being chased by my rooster wasn't just neighborhood gossip, it was practically local legend. People at the diner were already calling Big Red sheriff, and even the mailman chuckled when he saw him strutting by my gate. But while most folks found it hilarious, Karen didn't. She doubled down. I was feeding the hens when a shiny SUV pulled into my driveway. Out stepped Karen, clipboard in hand, sunglasses perched on her nose like she was an FBI agent. Behind her came 2 HOA board members, looking uncomfortable but clearly dragged along. She cleared her throat loudly. "This is an official HOA intervention," she declared. "Your chickens are hereby banned. They are to be removed from the neighborhood within 72 hours. I almost spit out my coffee. "Karen, you don't have any authority here. My land isn't HOA property. You know that." Her smile was sharp as broken glass. "Oh, I'll make it HOA property. I've already filed a petition to extend the boundaries. And until then, I'll be calling animal control, code enforcement, and the sheriff's office daily if I have to." The 2 board members shifted uncomfortably. One muttered, "Karen, maybe we should," but she cut him off with a glare. Big Red, as if on cue, let out a thunderous crow. Karen flinched, then straightened her jacket like she hadn't. "Mark my words," she hissed. "Either the chickens go, or you will." With that, she spun on her heel and marched back to her SUV, dragging the reluctant board members with her. I stood there, stunned for a moment, then started laughing. She thought she could bully me into giving up my birds? Not a chance. But I knew I couldn't just wait for her next move. Karen was relentless, and if she'd really gone to the county, things could get messy. So I decided to get ahead of her. That afternoon, I called up Sheriff Daniels, an old buddy from high school. I told him what had happened, the break-in, the stolen hens, the rooster attack. He chuckled so hard I thought he'd choke. "Wish I'd been there to see it," he said. Then he got serious. "But don't worry, Mark. She doesn't have a leg to stand on. Her petition won't fly, and if she trespasses again, we'll handle it." I hung up, relieved, but not entirely at ease, because deep down, I knew Karen. She wasn't the type to give up after one loss. And sure enough, that night the trouble really started. The trouble began just after midnight. I woke to the sound of rattling outside, metal on wood, faint clucks, and the unmistakable crow of an angry rooster. I grabbed my flashlight and boots, heading straight for the coop. What I found made my blood boil. Karen, dressed in black like some wannabe ninja, was hunched by the coop door with a net in one hand and a dog crate in the other. She was trying to snatch my hens again. "Karen!" I barked. She froze like a deer in headlights. Then instead of backing down, she hissed, "These animals are illegal! I'm saving the neighborhood!" Before I could take another step, Big Red exploded out of the shadows. He charged her like a feathery missile, wings flapping, claws slashing at her pant legs. Karen shrieked, stumbled backward, and fell flat into the mud. I couldn't help it. I laughed. "Looks like my rooster's better at security than a guard dog," I said. She scrambled to her feet, covered in dirt, hair sticking out wildly. "This isn't over. I'll sue you, That's when headlights swung across the yard. A sheriff's cruiser pulled up, and out stepped Sheriff Daniels himself. "Evening, folks," he said, arms crossed. "Funny thing. Got a call about a chicken theft in progress. Guess I found the culprit." Karen's jaw dropped. "He's lying! These chickens, these filthy creatures, they're against every code in the book." Daniels raised an eyebrow. "Except this isn't HOA property. And trespassing on a man's land in the middle of the night? That's against the law." The neighbors, awakened by the commotion, began gathering along the road, murmuring and filming the scene on their phones. Karen was cornered, muddy, humiliated, and caught red-handed. Daniels shook his head. "Patricia Hendricks, you're under arrest for trespassing and attempted theft." The crowd gasped. Karen screeched as he cuffed her, but the more she thrashed, the funnier it got. Big Red strutted in circles, crowing triumphantly like he was celebrating victory. The neighbors actually applauded. As the cruiser pulled away with Karen inside, Mr. Diaz shouted, "Long live the rooster!" The teens cheered, and someone even started chanting, "Sheriff Red! Sheriff Red!" I gathered up my hens, patting Big Red proudly. "You did good, buddy," I said. "Real good." From that night on, Karen's reign of terror ended. She lost her HOA seat, her credibility, and, thanks to the videos, her dignity went viral online. And as for Big Red, he became a legend. Around here, folks don't talk about the HOA anymore. They talk about the rooster who took it down. If you enjoyed this crazy showdown, don't forget to hit that like button, drop a comment about your favorite part, and of course subscribe so you don't miss the next wild HOA story. Your support keeps these stories coming.